Hello children, a very warm welcome to the virtual session again. So let us continue with the chapter Physical and Chemical Changes, chapter 6, part 14. In this session we are going to continue with the additional questions. We were doing short answer type questions. We did 3 questions in the previous session of short answer type questions. So we are going to start with question number 4 of this type of questions now. Write the differences between physical and chemical changes. So you are going to write the difference between physical and chemical changes. You have to make points of difference. You are not going to write this in your notebook, children. You are going to just go through the video. It's a revision session for you. So kindly listen to the video carefully. You are not going to write this in your notebook as you have done in the previous session. You need to just listen to the question and answers, and you need to recap concept, reinforce, you need to drill, you need to revisit those concepts. So physical and chemical change. Physical change, here no new substance is formed. In chemical change, new substance is formed. As you have all done in the previous session, it's just a revision of the concept which we have already learned. Physical change is a temporary change, whereas chemical change is a permanent change. Physical change is easily reversible, chemical change is irreversible. Then physical change, very little energy, that is heat etc. is absorbed or given out in a physical change. That means the release or the absorption of heat is very less, or there is no involvement of heat, no release or absorption of heat in the physical change, whereas in chemical change a lot of energy in the form of heat, light, sound etc. is absorbed or given out in a chemical change. So you have done all these type of physical and chemical changes you have seen in your day-to-day life, and all these properties of physical change and chemical change you have learned. So it's just a recap of the sessions which you have done, children. Go through the video, listen to the video carefully, understand the concepts, recap the concepts, children. Okay, quite clear with you. Question number 5. In addition to the formation of new products, what changes do the chemical changes accompany? Now, in addition or to the formation of new products, what are the other changes you see in the chemical change? It means that. So, there will be a formation of new product in the chemical change because there is some chemical reaction going on. Beside that, what else you see in the chemical change? In addition to the new product, the following may accompany a chemical change. The following things which can change you can see in a chemical change. Heat, light or any other radiation, example ultraviolet, may be given off or absorbed. So you all know chemical change is always followed by either addition of heat or light or both or any one. Radiation can be given out. Burning firecrackers is a very good example of this. Sound may be produced. Firecrackers produce when it burns, produces sound. A change in the smell may take place, or new smell may be given off. Like your food getting spoiled, it get turned stale. The stale food will give up smell, foul smell, a different kind of smell. So it's a chemical change because food gets spoiled due to decaying because we have not kept it properly, and if it kept for a longer time and gets stale, so it will give you some different smell. So that is a chemical change. Chemical change we can give you some kind of smell. Okay, a color change may take place. So you may see some color change, like when you cut apple and you keep it for some time, it will get some brownish coating. It you see some brownish surface on the or the surface of the apple, where the part is cut, you see some kind of color change. It's all because of the chemical reaction happening, oxidation of the enzymes and all in the apple. So because of that color change you can see. A very good example, rusting of iron, where you get a brown color surface, get a brown color substances, that is the rust. That is again a chemical change. A gas may be formed. Vinegar, that is acetic acid when you react with baking soda. So gas, carbon dioxide gas is given out. So all this is associated with the chemical change, children. Then question number 6, magnesium ribbon burns in air and changes to white substance. That is magnesium oxide, that you all know. We have done this in the previous session and we have seen the reaction. Actually, the pictures you have seen. When magnesium oxide dissolves in water, what type of change takes place? Give reason in support of your answer. Express the change in the form of equation. It's a high order thinking skill and it's not that difficult. Just need to think over it. You have already done this. So what happens when magnesium ribbon burns in air? That means it is burning in the presence of oxygen. And a white substance you get, that is magnesium oxide powder you get. So mixing of ash obtained by the burning of magnesium with water is a chemical change. When magnesium is burnt in air, it forms magnesium oxide in the form of white ash. The word equation you can write magnesium plus oxygen, Mg plus O2 give magnesium oxide, that is MgO. Okay, so this is the equation we have written. And when magnesium oxide dissolves in water, what happens? This also we have discussed. When magnesium oxide dissolve in water, that is MgO plus H2O give magnesium hydroxide, that is MgOH twice, and this is a base. So magnesium oxide is a basic substance because when it dissolves in water it gives you a base. Therefore magnesium oxide is a basic substance. It has a basic nature. That means it will turn red litmus blue. Either you add put red litmus paper or red litmus solution, it will turn blue, which shows that it is basic in nature and therefore it is a chemical change. Why? Because magnesium hydroxide has totally different property than magnesium oxide. Though they are base, both are basic in nature, but the properties will differ altogether. So the chemical change has taken place over here. Magnesium oxide when dissolved in water gives you magnesium hydroxide. Quite clear, children? Next, what is stainless steel? How is stainless steel made? State an important property of stainless steel. Now over here, uh, you have to explain what is stainless steel. You all know stainless steel is an alloy of iron. Alloy means is a mixture of some metals. Here stainless steel means mixture of iron and some other metals. Let us see what are the other metals they mix. When iron is mixed or alloyed with carbon, chromium and nickel, then stainless steel is obtained. So some expensive metals over here which have a very good properties of durability, luster, and all the desirable qualities it has just because of the chromium and nickel. That's why stainless steel is very durable and long lasting and has all lustrous and all that good properties and good qualities which we want to make utensils. Therefore stainless steel does, and stainless steel does not rust at all because it's an alloy of iron with uh, chromium and nickel, which has got a good property, which has a property of not reacting easily as iron does react easily in the atmosphere. Carbon and nickel are expensive and metals, and they've got a property that they will not react easily with the oxygen and water. That's why alloy of iron, carbon, chromium, and nickel stainless steel is obtained and it will not rust at all. Question number 8. Plants prepare their food by process called photosynthesis. Can we call photosynthesis a chemical change? Can we call as a chemical change? Explain. It's in high order. So photosynthesis, you all know, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, plants prepare their own food with the help of sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, and all the other favorable climate, favorable weather. They prepare their own food. So is it a chemical change? Let us see. During photosynthesis, the plants intake carbon dioxide and water in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight to form two new substances, that is glucose, food. What is food? Actually glucose. The simplest form of food is glucose, and oxygen gas is given out in that process. So photosynthesis is a chemical change because a gas is given out and you get totally a new product out of carbon dioxide and water in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. Therefore, it's a chemical change. The process of digestion is a chemical change. Explain why. The process of digestion is a chemical change because the various food materials break down to form new substances which can be absorbed by the body. So the process of digestion is a chemical change. Why? Because the various food product is going to break down and is going to give you new substances which can be absorbed by the body. It has to break down into the simplest form so that it can be easily absorbed by the glucose and all easily absorbed by the blood, and food directly cannot go to the blood, so it has to break down into simplest part, and finally glucose will go to the blood to give us energy. Hence it is a chemical change which cannot be reversed. Then question number 10, how ozone layer act as a protective shield. Your ozone has a property of protecting us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation, okay, which is given by the sunlight. So we have earth has a blanket of atmosphere, and due to that we have and we also have ozone layer. So ozone layer will form a protective layer and will prevent us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation which come from the sun. Ozone absorbs the ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun and break down to form oxygen. Ozone formula, chemical formula is O3. So ozone O3 will break down to give you oxygen, that is O2, which is harmless. In this way ozone layer absorb harmful ultraviolet radiation. So that is why ozone layer acts as a protective shield. Quite clear, children? Then which type of change does take place in the following and state whether the energy is evolved or absorbed during the change. Now over here some changes given to you. You have to find out, you have to state whether the energy is absorbed or released in the given change and what type of a change it is first of all. So let us see if there is a change in a chemical change, and either energy is evolved or absorbed. And first of all we need to see what type of a change it is. The question is burning of a candle, lightning of a bulb, preparation of food by green plants, volcanic eruption, evaporation of petrol, burning of LPG. All this change you see and you have to state what type of change it is, physical or chemical change. And then you have to state whether energy is absorbed or released or evolved. Released means or evolved means the same thing. Now, burning of a candle is a chemical as well as a physical change, and energy is evolved. You know, in the form of heat, you go next to a burning candle. Don't try to touch the burning candle. Just the surrounding part of the burning candle, you will feel the heat. So, heat energy is given out, and it's a chemical change and physical change both, because burning of the candle will give out carbon dioxide gas. Burning of the wick of the candle is going to completely change the composition of that wick. That's why it's a chemical change, because the wax will burn and give out carbon dioxide. Therefore it's a chemical change. And simultaneously you will have a melting of wax, which is a physical change and which can be reversed. You can again set when it cools down again, the melted wax will set and it will regain the original form. Therefore, it is a physical change as well. Lightening of a bulb is a physical change because, where you see energy is evolved. Because once you switch off the current, light will go off. So, lightening of a bulb is a physical change, and here you will see it's a kind of a physical change where energy is evolved or released. Quite clear, children? So, it's just a physical lightening of the filament, tungsten filament in the bulb. As you switch off the bulb, it will again, tungsten will again gain, or it will go back to the original form. Preparation of food by green plants is a chemical change. Why? Because energy is absorbed. Why? It requires sunlight. As you know, photosynthesis requires sunlight. That's why energy is absorbed, and that's why preparation of food is a chemical change. Quite clear? Why? Because it is taking up sunlight and energy is absorbed, and when food is prepared by green plants, carbon dioxide and water is changed to carbohydrate, that is glucose. So here the substances which are involved in the preparation of food, they will change completely. Chemically they will change. Therefore it is a chemical change. Carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight um, and chlorophyll, they will form glucose. Therefore the original form of the substance will change completely. Hence it's a chemical change. Volcanic eruption, chemical change because energy is evolved and lots of carbon dioxide and other harmful gases are given out, and it's an eruption. Fire broke out and you will see lots of um, harmful gases coming out of the volcanic eruptions. So here it's a chemical change, and you cannot reverse the process. Evaporation of petrol is a physical change as no new chemical substance is formed and energy is absorbed over here. So when you are evaporating, it requires energy, it absorbs energy. Therefore, and but no new chemical substance is formed. Therefore, evaporation of petrol is a physical change. Burning of LPG, chemical change because LPG on burning form carbon dioxide and water and energy is absorbed. So over here you can see burning of LPG at home. You can see this liquefied petroleum gas cylinder which you get at home. When you burn it, you get it's a fuel actually. So it burns and it gives you a flame on which you can cook food. So that burning will give out carbon dioxide and water vapors, and where energy is being absorbed. That's why it's a chemical change. Give two example for each of the following cases. Now you just have to give out two example of the following cases. The conditions given over here, three conditions. Physical changes which are reversible. So two example where physical changes are reversible. Let us see. Folding of paper and melting of wax. So this is a physical change and it is reversible. Quite clear, children? Then physical changes which are not reversible. So physical change, let us see which are physical. Tearing of paper, you cannot reverse the process once you tear it. And breaking of glass. Okay, so breaking of glass and tearing of paper, they are physical changes, but it's not reversible. Once your glass, you break the glass, then it is not going to, the process is not going to reverse. Then chemical changes, um, where two example of the chemical changes you have to give. Just two example of the chemical changes. Very simple. You have learned so many chemical changes. You can give any two. Here we have discussed two. Here reaction between vinegar and baking soda. You know, burning of magnesium ribbon in the air. That also you have done. Copper sulfate reacting with iron nail or blade. It will give you iron sulfate and copper. That also a chemical change because iron is more reactive than copper. It will displace copper from copper sulfate solution and iron sulfate will be formed. So that is also a chemical change. Burning of a matchstick is a chemical change. Burning of a firecracker is a chemical change. Any two example of chemical change you can give children. I hope many concepts discussed today in this session, children. What all concepts which you have already learned in your previous session, we have discussed in this uh, through question answers. I hope you understood many of the concepts which were not clear with you. I hope with this session it's going to help you out to recap or review your concepts, to reinforce some concepts. Kindly go through the video again and again. You need not write in the notebook, but children, do make a note in your book for today's session as well as those previous session where we have discussed additional questions. So whenever you want to revisit this video, you can easily find it out and you can go through these question answers. You need not write in the book. I hope you will have written textual exercise question answers in your notebook. Here we end with the session, children. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. See you very soon.